Iran visiting Syria. It is the first visit of such to Syria since the civil war started. Now, Raisi congratulated Assad for his victory despite facing a barrage of sanctions. What does this visit by a top ally to Syria mean, especially as the country is shifting its position? We tell you more.
It is an ally in tough times that hopes to bolster its sway as the region opens up to an old-time foe. This week, Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi visited Syria for a 2-day trip. The visit, the first by an Iranian president in 13 years, is being hailed as a strategic victory in Tehran. The last Iranian president to visit Syria was President Mahmoud Ahmadinejad in 2010. No Iranian leader has visited Damascus since the civil war that engulfed the country over a decade ago. Tehran was the only player in West Asia that stood by Syria at a time when the entire region alienated the Syrian president, Bashar al-Assad, over claims of war crimes and a deadly crackdown on protesters. The conflict has since killed nearly 500,000 people and displaced half of Syria's pre-war population of 23 million. During the conflict, Tehran sent militia to help defeat Assad's opponents. Its backing of Assad was crucial in his battle against the rebels. With support from Russia and Iran, the Syrian president regained control of most of the country, with the remnants of the armed opposition controlling enclaves in northwest Syria.
When the war against Syria started 12 years ago, Iran did not hesitate to stand alongside Syria despite the threats and enticements. Iran unreservedly offered all political and economic support and even gave blood, which is the most valuable thing a person can provide to their fellow human.
On the 2-day trip, Raisi and Assad held talks and signed a series of long-term cooperation agreements on oil and other sectors to further economic ties between the two allies.
The memorandums of understanding signed and the numerous projects discussed will greatly advance relations through developing mechanisms to increase trade exchange and investments between the two countries. In addition, they will mitigate the impacts of sanctions, taking advantage of changes in the global economic map and the gradual transition of balance to the east.
The deal is important also for Syria, whose economy has hit an all-time low over the past decade. There is spiraling inflation, a currency plunge, and rampant power cuts. Moreover, Western sanctions are slowing the economy down. Tehran-based analysts say strengthening ties between Iran and Syria, backed by Russia and China, will end the Western dominance in the region.
Americans and Europeans still insist on their sanctions on Syria, and they have stressed that they would not allow any of those countries to invest anything in the government-held areas in Syria. Iran, Russia, China, as well as some other Arab League members, they are going to take part in the reconstruction. That means a big no to the United States policy that would, I believe, end up in another failure for the U.S. sanctions policy.
After a decade, the group of Gulf nations that once supported the opposition are now considering bringing Syria back into the realm. Earlier on Monday, foreign ministers of Gulf nations gathered in Jordan to discuss an end to the Syrian conflict and bring back Damascus into the regional fold.
Everything that is related to the Syrian crisis will be dealt with, but in a process that will surely be long. Today is the beginning, the process continues, and a lot of work is needed. There must be steps on the ground that lead to an improvement in the reality in which Syria and the Syrians live. There must be steps that take us to solve this problem and proceed towards a comprehensive solution for it.
The outreach to Damascus picked up pace after the February earthquake, and the China brokered re-establishment of ties between Saudi Arabia and Iran. And Riyadh, the regional heavyweight that once backed Syrian rebel groups, has been leading the rapprochement.